Alrighty, everybody. Just checking to see if everyone can see my screen and hear me. I can see some people starting to file in here. Yes, I have everybody muted. Perfect. All right. Thank you, Pamela. And then if let me know if you can see what I have typing test into the chat panel, because last week when I did this, it seemed to be when I typed in that chat panel, no one saw that, which was kind of odd. Don't see any test. Interesting. How about now? All right, that went through, yes? All right, I think I figured it out now. That's better. All right, everyone. So there's a lot of signups, not a lot of people in here so far. The general syllabus, what I'm trying to do here is for new users or struggling users with the software. Try to just go over some of the real basics of the software. Functions of the chart, functions of the scans, what some of the filters and or alerts mean, functions of single stock window, compare count window, so on and so forth, and try to use the first half hour anyways for that, and then open it up, a little different than the 3:30 sessions I've been doing since September. All right, so I see, all right, a few more coming on in. It's going to be a little bit of a learning curve still. I had about 35 people signed up to attend this. I'm only seeing 4 of you in here so far. So, and I'm recognizing the names that are in here. I believe you folks have been with me in the past. So with that said, we can take this in the direction of, more of an open Q&A anyways, with so few people in here. The more people that are in here, I think the harder it is to manage that. So, all I've done is I'm using for now just a simple layout that I've created. It's actually now in the user's guide. Layback, call it starter layout, pullbacks and breakouts. Some pretty basic scans that I put in here. Never really, other than checking the history on them to see that there are actually some decent alerts in here. I haven't done any back testing or anything like that, but a simple scan where the stock was down yesterday and it's up today. Stock where it's pulled back off the highs of the day and now making a 5-minute high, and something that's moving up on the day, crossing some intraday resistance or some recent daily resistance with a little bit of volume there. So, and again, I still see us not really many attendees at the moment. So if you folks want to throw some questions for now, we can just do it more as an open forum here for anybody. I have a general kind of syllabus that I want to follow if it's a really big group, but like I said, it doesn't look like it's going to be a big group, at least not 4 minutes in here. But so I'm just going to go over some things. Stop me if you have questions. If anybody wants to take it another direction, I'd say use the chat panel. I prefer that to the questions and answers panel. A little easier for me to see and navigate there. This chat panel here, that there versus this here. I'd prefer this chat panel. Absolutely, we can look at the Market Explorer. So I don't know if I left a window open for that or not. Did I close my Market Explorer window? Yes, I did. All right, so For those that are not familiar, Market Explorer is a technology that allows us to do some things we can't do with the regular software. Everything we do on it has to be done our side and pushed out to you folks through the others. It's a different set of servers, essentially, and different tech. If anybody's not familiar with it, if we're looking at our menu bar up here, we're going to head to New. That's how we'll get to the Market Explorer. So we go ahead and click New, and we're going to look for this Market Explorer TIQ Trade Ideas Quant marked with an E. And if you notice, for anybody that's still new or learning to navigate the software in general, A alerts for a alert window, T for top list, M for multi, single for S for single stock window. This check mark is our compare count windows. We got bars here, the candlesticks for our charts, P for price alerts, welcome screen W, and so on and so forth. We can see here. So all the way down here to Market Explorer. And then Craig, I see you had a question there. I'll pop over to that in just a moment. So this is what you're going to get when you first open a Market Explorer window. And there's a link that'll bring you, if you click it, straight through to our user's guide section on the Market Explorer. And in here, Stephanie, who is the architect of this user's guide, she keeps it pretty up to date. Sometimes it might take a day, maybe 36 hours if something new happens for her to get all of it updated. But each scan that's in the Market Explorer is in here, and a brief blurb going over those scans. A shot at a chart, what it's looking for in the scan. All right, so on and so forth, going all the way down of the different items that are in here, okay? So after we've navigated that, or after we've checked that out, Market Explorer itself becomes very simple to use. There's no real configuration to it other than selecting the scan you want, and everything in Trade Ideas is a right click. So if we right click the Market Explorer window, we're going to see these different items that are in here. I recommend getting rid of pinned always. We can link it just like we can to any other charts. Our linking is indicated by the color in the corner here. So we can see that blue E, meaning link to all. If I click that red, now you see that turns red. Click purple, you can see it's purple there, so on and so forth. So we're going to go with link to all for now. I can find where I was looking. There we go. All right. Next, we want to look at the server windows, and this is where all the different pre-made scans lie within this market window. And again, each one of these scans we go over in the user's guide. Again, if you need to look for it right here, that gives you a quick link to it if you want, also found on our webpage as well. So again, server windows, 820 cross on gappers, that's going to be a 2-minute cross for 8 EMA and 20 SMA. If you're an RSI divergence is long and an RSI divergence short, those are daily scans. TI strength, this is the scan, if we click on it, where the strength alerts comes from. And each window is going to look slightly different than the next based on some of the metrics that the window is looking for. So for example, in the TI strength alerts, each stock is assigned a score. That's basically how they make the grade for the strength alerts that go in each week, those 5 alerts that you see on the welcome screen of the strength alerts. And we click through and look through the different items that are in here. So, RSI, we're looking at an RSI score, of course, the last price, when the alert came in, volume of the stock on the alert. All right, and that same will hold true whether you want RSI long or short. Our bull flags, ATR and position in 120-day range are 2 of the filters that are used, or 2 of the sets of math that are used in this scan. All right. And again, we have our date and the symbol here for the bull flag. The 3.0 just means how many versions of the scan we've gone through trying to find what we want. It's not using pattern recognition, the scan. All right. It's using math and finding stocks that have done certain things over a period of time. But, very nice bull flag that we're looking at there on Apple, for example. So we can see, some of these charts will be more quality than others. All right, another nice looking bull flag here on Alcoa. you know, Apple looks a little nicer than this, but I think we get the general picture of what it's trying to do, what we're trying to look for. There we go. That. Let me know if you have Daniel, if you have other questions that are specific to the Market Explorer. All right. But I'm going to cut it there for the moment. You can go through each one of these scans and find them. And like I said, a description of all the scans are in the user's guide for you. And then I see Craig, if you use Holly, but you want to get out of the hard settings she goes by and want to trade using your own strategies, I'll use the software to find stocks and execute the parameters are hit. Is that possible? Still automate trades, pick the strategies. So you wouldn't be using Holly anymore, Craig. Essentially what you'd be doing is you still need a premium subscription and you'd be creating alert windows and back testing those alert windows and then optimizing them, Craig. And then you'd, from there deploy into simulator, seeing how they run an automation and simulation and so on and so forth. We can circle into back testing in a moment here. I just want to see what else we have coming in for the questions here, because Craig, that gets into some pretty advanced stuff. And so, if we're a small group in here, I can move down into that area. It looks like we are going to be a small group here. Also, I encourage anybody that's here, join me on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, same exact time on our YouTube channel. I just do it more of an open forum there. Like I said, today it looks like it's a light crowd in here. So give me a moment, Craig, and I think we can move into that. I don't think there'll be any issue with doing that. And then Pamela, thoughts on trailing stops use iBrokerage Plus with a risk reward, 3.55% risk. Have anything like this on TDA, think, or swim? Thoughts on the trailing stop to get? Google and API pricing. I'm not sure what the API pricing references to you're referring to there, Pamela. I have mixed feelings on trailing stops. I like doing everything. I like doing everything as far as trailing stops go. Why is this? There we go. That's how we do. I like doing everything kind of manually for my stops unless I'm walking away from the PC. But I would say this: if you struggle for following your stops and sticking to them, or if you're one of those people, earlier on, I still struggle with it a little bit, but not much as much as I used to. But if you're one of those people that has that situation where you get up in a trade and it just always seems to reverse on you, then I think a trailing stop is good. But here's the issue that can be with trailing stops too: is the stop, what's that level that works for that trail. And you don't want to get wicked out of something and then have it move back up again on you. That's always, it's a real terrible feeling to have that happen with trailing stops. So it's one of those things that maybe you have to experiment with, and it's not going to work the same on every stock. And at every point in the day of every stock, especially when you have stocks that are really volatile, really whipping all over the place. Then you have stocks that are, let's call them well-behaved, smaller spreads and less volatile, that they work work well with the trailing stop, that the stock seems to move very orderly and the pullbacks aren't major, versus something that looks like it's orderly and then you get this big drawdown and let's say the trailing stop came to this level and then all of a sudden it's coming back up, and it stopped you at a level that you might not be happy with. That's the issue that you run into with the trailing stops. I'm sure TD has trailing stops. All trailing stops have to work with either a dollar number that you're trailing behind, or a cent number, or a percent, and that's how they'll work like that. But that's kind of my thoughts on trailing stops. I think it's one of those things that as you're learning to quote unquote let winners run and cut losers short, I think it's better. And as you become more familiar and you get a better feel of trading and the stocks you're trading, I think it's one of those things where a lot of people want to take more control, especially if they're in front of the screen all day. Let me know if that kind of works for you, Pamela, if I didn't cover something well, or you want me to cover something more in depth. I'll take that. Thank you from Daniel that worked well for you in in the Market Explorer. So as far as deploying the strategies go, let me get a Brokerage Plus window here. So let's just pretend that if you had an alert window that you liked and you back tested it, and you want to deploy it, let's say first, not let's say, you should always, there should no doubt be deployed into simulation first. You're going to connect to our simulator here, all right? And this is just a bunch of simulated positions that I've randomly taken over the weeks and months. You'd head to the strategies tab here. And if you right click, you can see load from cloud here. And then any alert window, please always load anything you're looking to automate as an alert window. Obviously, you cannot load a top list in there for automation, and please don't load a multi-window or a docked window in there. Load it as an individual alert window. And then, you're going to look for whatever that alert window happens to be and select it. I'm just trying to find something here that'll work. All right, this off highs, breaking resistance 2, and you're going to see add to existing. Don't replace all. You're not looking to replace all of those here. Add to existing. And once you have that in here, you're going to right click the strategy, come to edit trading strategy, and it should have all the configuration of your actual strategy in here. You have to link it to an account, so I'd link it to, simulated trading here. All right, and then entry time. All right, when you're initiating the trades in between, just like you did within the OM. Now, most of the OM is odds maker, so most of the items that you would have done in the OM should carry over to this window here, but you got to double check all of it. You're gonna have to go into your order details. Are you going in at a limit? Are you going at a market order? If you go in a limit, what's going to be your offset? Your risk management, you'll have to set those or make sure they're set to what you used in the OM. And if you're looking to have a hold time, what you want that hold time to be, or no hold time. All right. And then once you're done there, you press OK. And then for the trading day, you're going to right click and go to click to enable right here. Strategies disabled, click to enable, and you would enable it and it'll say on. And that's it. It's going to go from there. And you're going to, watch it. If it takes anything, it'll load in your positions here. You'll see the orders over here, whether they're filled orders or they're submitted orders. You can manage the orders that are from there. And that's, the short and skinny parts of it, Craig. The rest starts come to trial and error and things like that. Some very, very important notes. Please do not leave your broker open all night. Please do not leave trade ideas open all night. At the very least, if you, for whatever reason, you're leaving things open all night, at the very least, close it when you wake up in the morning and then relaunch it. We do work server side. Your broker probably doing work server side, and not interrupting or not breaking the connection can block some of that work and cause some different data interruptions and errors. So, just make sure you do it like that. You do that. That's very important to do that. But that's the short and skinny of it. Building an alert window itself, there's the rub, as they say. One thing I'll say to anybody that's getting into back testing: do not over optimize your strategies. Don't you start with a base strategy that has 4 filters, and then through optimization you have 27 filters that are all narrowed down and screwed down, because it's going to be optimized for the prior 60 whatever days, or however many days you're back testing. I mean, I think most people are trying to back test the full 64 days ish that we have. And you'll find that the strategy will not work going forward the same as it did in the back testing. I've done it myself. I thought I had the mother strategy. It was, wasn't going to set the world on fire, but it was making, let's say, 15 trades a week and 60% winners, and, making $100 a trade and looked great. And, I optimized it for days and days and days on, and then all of a sudden I deployed it in the simulator and everything was a loser out of it. And then when I forward tested it, and this is what I mean by forward testing, so what I've done is I have a window that I've actually been what I call forward testing. So I created this window and just didn't really do much of an optimization on it whatsoever. And I back tested, every few days to see what it looks like in the back test. And that's forward testing, because I'm not altering this window since I started running the back test consistently. I've just left it as is, essentially. And so I've been that's what I call forward testing it. All right. And then all of a sudden, when I started doing the forward testing with the simulations of that window that I over optimized, it looked terrible. It was just an absolutely terrible window. So that's what happened there. Then let's circle back on Pamela here. Okay, great. Thanks. Yes. For me, sometimes you get pulled away. So stops will be helpful to protect profits. Yeah, that's exactly it. That's one of the few times I set stops. Other than that, I'm really just, I'm really just looking at what, just looking at the charts and paying attention to my positions. I never have too many open positions at once anyways, 3-ish max is what I have open as far as, trading stuff goes anyways. Okay, so so circling back on you here, Pamela, continue to circle back on you. Where's Brokerage Plus? Once you've added a strategy, when you make any changes in Brokerage Plus, save it to your default layout, okay? So file, save layout, all right, and save it as this default here. Any edits that you make within Brokerage Plus, save it there, and they will be carried over to the next time you start. The only thing you'll ever have to do each day is enable the strategies. But once you've set things up in here and you've set risk parameters and you've linked it to an account, all that stuff will save to your local layout, but you just have to make sure that you save it. All right. But it'll all be there. It'll all live there for you once the account, the risk management, anything like that. And then each day, all you have to do is right click and enable the strategy. And that's it. That's everything that you have to do. And so, yeah, you just have to enable each day. And then also BNS work on Brokerage Plus. When you say BNS, are you talking about the buys and sells on the charts? Because those are about to change. Actually, I'm in a developmental version that should be coming out to you folks. Hopefully, I don't know. I'll say in the next 10 days. I mean, we thought it might be out this week, but it's not looking that way right now. Are you talking about these buys and sells, the BNS that are up here? All right. Yes. So yes, those are just your default chart strategies. So what you would do is if you have a strategy that you like and you want to work off of those, all right, right click, whatever the strategy is, whether it's one you created or it's one of the predefined ones, first go into the edit trading strategy, make sure you have whatever you want set up in here like that. Okay. And then you'd right click it and set as default chart long, or if it was a short strategy, set as default chart short. So we can see I right click the long strategy, so long as the option. If right clicking a short, have to right click the short, right click, set as default short strategy like that. And whoops. And sorry, lost my Brokerage Plus window. We got the market still open. So let me see if I can make this work here. So let's edit this 100 shares, blah, blah, blah. Counts simulated, save, entry time. We're good on that. Order details, fixed shares 100. Let's go in at market. Risk management, just for fun. Let's throw a dollar. So we're risking a dollar per share and a target. And let's give it a target, dollar. Let's give it 2.5 for fun per share. Whole time, we don't need one. And we're going to press OK. We're going to right click. We're going to enable it. And we're going to right click and we're going to set it as the default chart long. And see now I have a buy up here that I can do on. So that's what's coming down your lane soon. But right now that B blue buy should work. And you click buy and it's going to give you this here. And where do you want to put the order in? All right. And there goes the order and boom, I got the fill. And we can see if we zoom out, we can see there's my target and there's my stop and it's all right there for me. And we can also see all this done here in the orders tab. There's ACER, there's my fill, here my subsequential closing orders. All right. One other thing I want to note is whether you're trading your own strategies or you're trading Holly in automation, if you go to manipulate any of the orders that are in there, or you want to flatten a position or anything like that, please make sure in the orders tab, whether it's the orders tab here, or the orders tab of your broker, both should work just fine. Make sure that the other subsequential orders are canceled and that they're not sitting there. You don't want to end up short a position because you didn't cancel an order and the order stayed in there essentially. All right. So hopefully that all circles in that. We gotcha. Perfect. All right. And then Craig, let's see. Thanks. Question: is it possible to add a filter to a strategy to run only when you see over market up or down, or even based on direction of futures? And trend like to run strategies based on direction of the market, trending. And I think your last thing, by the way, when I said overall market, meaning, yeah, Craig, that's a great question. So in alert windows here, if we right click and we come to configure and we type in change, we have all these change filters here that are going to relate to the strategy. And then we have these change filters here: change NASDAQ, change S&P, and change Dow. So those are the ones you could look at. These are the ones that you have: 5, 10, 15, 30. And today you have that for each one of those here. So you could attach those to any window, Craig. So you're looking at market direction in that sense. So, for example, if we were to on this here add, let's say S&P, change S&P 30 minutes, and we add that filter. And we can use, I'm a big fan of the show me function. If you folks aren't familiar, most of these items in here, you can click on this magnifying glass, all right? And then it'll give you this, and you can add to the fields here, and it'll tell you exactly what changing in those fields will do, and it'll put it into the scan. So for example, if I put, let's say 0.5 here. So now it's telling me, S&P 30-minute change percent, that's the filter here, all right? And it's saying, show me stocks where the S&P was up at least 0.5% in the last 30 minutes. And if I pressed OK here, now you can see that 0.5%'s added right there like that. So some good filters in there for people that want to use market direction. I think those are also good for people that are using automated strategies. Rising tide lifts all boats is a saying in trading, and there's nothing wrong with that. Knowing your markets, knowing what works in what markets. There is no strategy that works all year round in every market. It does not exist. Literally does not exist, other than people that are looking for big spikes and shorting those big spikes and things like that. Those stocks exist every day, but for people that are the average trader that's out there, there's just no strategy that's going to work all the time. And so having a component like that, I think, is a very good way to ensure not getting yourself into trouble. So really good stuff. Hi, Chris. How do you copy any window from standard channels and copy on it, creating personal channels? All right, so yeah, what we could do is, let me bring in, for example, well, this is kind of like a channel here, the starter layout here. And what you do is right click, save or share to cloud, any individual scan. All right. So if I save or share to this, let's do it like this. Actually, let's do this a little different. New docked channel bar. And so let's just say that I'm going through channels. All right. And I want to build my own kind of channel, my own layout. And first I hit the short squeeze channel and I say, all right, I like, this all populate, of course. Ooh, shorts feeling the pain. I looked over these scans. I said, this is a scan I think I want to be part of one of my layouts. Right click, save, share to cloud. All right. And if we look here in this save window, we notice that just that one item has a check mark in it. Nothing else has a check mark in it. Okay. Whoops. That was not what I wanted to happen. There we go. Back to shorts feeling the pain. Why is that not? Try that one more time. And I want to save that whole thing. There we go. Now I have the shorts feeling the pain. That's the one check. So now I've saved it into here. All right. And then I can come to, let's see. Going down, we'll click into going down. All right. And I can say, oh, gee, you know, biggest losers this month. This looks interesting to me. Another way to do this so you don't get all the windows here, we can duplicate into a free floating window. So there it is in the free floating window. I can right click, save or share to cloud. Now this time for real, has just the one check mark in it right there. So I've saved that one. And then, you know, we can go with the regular channel bar. Let's get this exercise up a little bit here. So let's see. I'll make sure I open a relative domain window. New regular channel bar, all right, because there's more in here. And the reason there's more in here is because of the formatting and limitations with docs and trying to make things make sense in a doc. And let's just say, oh, you know, momentum. I can come here to this channel. And, you know, gee, I really like Extreme Master Blaster, for example, and I can right click, save or share to cloud. We can see Extreme Master Blaster is all that's there. Boom, saved. And now I can say, all right, I want to start building my own layout here and get rid of all these other items because I didn't care about any of those. All right, I can go file, load from cloud. Here's my Extreme Master Blaster that I saved individually. And file, load from cloud. There's my biggest losers this month. Oops. And again, file, load from cloud. Here's that short squeeze. All right. There's our shorts feeling the pain. All right. And there's the beginnings of a layout, and I can organize this how I want. And then I can, you know, if I want to bring a chart in, you know, I can do that here. New, you know, bring a new chart menu in if I want. Start to arrange these things. And once I start to have things arranged how I would like to have them arranged, we can go file, save or share to cloud, and I can click entire layout. And then I can save it, and we're just going to call it test and zoom, just so I can display it in the cloud. So there we go. And now let's just say I close everything here and go file, load from cloud. And notice how this icon has the T icon, where this is an M for the multi-window, T for the top list, T for the top list again. So test and zoom, just as I saved. There's all those items saved just like that. And this is a way also, I know people, they like individual channels. Maybe they like the whole channel. They want to rearrange the whole channel, but the channels are held on our servers, pushed out to everybody. But you could rearrange a channel and then save it after you do so to the cloud and always load that channel via your cloud afterwards with all those changes that you made. So let me know if that kind of answered your question. I think that was what you were looking for there. And of course, if you wanted to create your own channel, you know, up here in the channel bar where that gear is on the regular channel bar, edit custom channels, add a channel. You're gonna, you know, select from cloud, find that, you know, it's got to be a saved layout in your cloud, and you could edit, you know, enter that, you know, select that, and there we can see there's the cloud link. You know, give it a name or whatever you want to do, and put the name of your channel. You know, upload an image, whatever image you want to upload. You know, things like that. And then you can have it. You know, I have a few that I messed around testing with here. You know, there's test and testing new cloud. So, you know, 2 channels. They're not anything special in there. Just I was messing around doing a demonstration like this. So let me know if that all made sense. Jesse S, see you over in YouTube. Do I have a favorite window or strategy? Yes and no. I like swing trading. I like when markets trend. What do I mean by trend this? I like when a market, moves sideways a little bit and we get a nice move up and then maybe a slight pullback and we move sideways up and then back up and, these nice little pullbacks and gradients because I like to swing trade stuff doing this, And I know once in a while we're going to end up with a correction, and then, we move back up and eventually, we're going to take out those highs and like that. Right now, what we have is this. And I hate this market. I will not lie. It's not great for swing trading like I like to do. So this is why this is a yes and no question. I have this strategy I call my evening scan. It's a go-to. Let me bring up a few things here. So let me bring up some charts. My charts that I like here. Please don't have a bunch of moving averages anymore. Damn it. Forgot to resave my charts the way I like them. I don't like moving averages on my charts anymore. And then I have a scan. I call it my evening scan. I'm going to share it with everybody first. And I'm going to go over what I look for in it. So I'm going to share that over with you in YouTube there. And I'm going to share it here. Please let me know if you don't see it in the chat panel in Zoom. I believe that's sent out to everybody now. Let me know if you don't see it for some reason. And then if you'll excuse me, I really don't like moving averages anymore. It's not that I don't like them. I don't like them. I want to get rid of these moving averages. Remove. And for anybody that's like, why don't you like moving averages? I just want clean charts. I want price and volume. The only other thing that I put on there is a multi-period low of 20 days. The reason why I'd like 20 days is that's a month. So I like to see what the low is over a month and see how we're looking at. So a very simple scan that I've done here. If we come into the configure, looking at stocks between $4 and $40, 750,000 shares traded today, one on the relative volume. Here's where the quote unquote magic of the scan comes in. I want to see that they're within the top 25% of their range of today and the top 25% of their range over the last 20 days. Or another way to put that is they're 75% off the lows respectively of the 20 days. Again, 20 days being a month. That's why it's on the chart. That's why it's here. And 75% above the lows of today respectively. Today is not going to return a whole lot, and it's probably going to be stuff that's kind of made a big move up like this today. And not so overly interested in this. Save, maybe that looks a little nicer. Oh, save is halted. I'm going to guess that's halted for news. Again, this is stuff that's going to be coming down the line for you soon. Not enough chart data. So I'm trying to find a chart that I like out of the scan. And of course, yesterday there was a ton of them. Today, there isn't really much. So this one, maybe, all right. We have this gap, we'll call it a breakaway gap, all right. And now we've held it, made a pullback here and it's kind of held that gap level. And this might be something that I'm interested in taking a look at here. Note here, $10, big psychological level, got rejected off there multiple times, kind of hard. So, now I'd ask myself, trying to look at this as a setup. If I can find my words, maybe we're in a bit of a range here. Maybe there's some room to move up off of that. We'll see. I don't like it enough that I'm not going to put it on my liked list. I use my liked list to kind of keep track of stocks that I do like. I think that's, I was going to say it's treasuries. All right, just trying to find something that looks good to me here, and I'm really not seeing anything. It's an okay chart. What I don't care for is this, pulled up and pulled right back down over this line, same thing it did here. But essentially, I'm trying to find bases building on bases. This one I like a little bit more. What do I like about this? Kind of in the sideways range that's here, moved down, moved up, established that low. So here's a low, here's a higher low, here's a higher low. I like when the stocks do that. We're butting up against this range here. So now I feel like it's kind of giving actually good risk reward. I don't have a single stock window to know if there's other things about this I like or not right now. Chart wise though, let's just, all right, trade 1.3 million shares today. So I do like that. So, all right, so now we've established there's a nice low. here's another low, and here's another low, all right? And we're butting up against this here. The stock hasn't really run away from anybody here. And if nothing else, I'm looking at saying, all right, that $18 level, there's a good stop, right? As far as my eye is concerned. And that $20 level, that's a reasonable target. So now we're risking $1 to make $1. I'm not a huge fan of that, but take it a step further. Sure, $20 is a whole number we can look at, but maybe, it can get up to where it was struggling up over here. And now we're looking at, we'll call it 2050 for example. And I'm looking at now 1.5 reward to a 1 risk. Now, this 1.5 is not a hard number. That one is a hard number. This is what I mean. That comes down, if I were to enter a position here at $19, all right, and that comes down and tags that $18 level, and that is where I did put my stop, I'm out. That's the end of it. Lost $1, $100, whatever, however I share size. If things are working out, this is moving up, and we get to $20, and I see we're struggling at $20, and we're in this choppy market that we've been in, and let's just say I've got 400 shares, for example, all right? You better believe I'm peeling out of probably 150, 175 of those shares and locking something right in. And my stop is no longer going to be $18. My stop is probably going to be $18.50 now, all right? Now, generally speaking, I don't put hard stops in unless I'm walking away from the computer. Just, disciplined enough to follow along with those stops, all right? It becomes a feel thing for me, personally. Managing that profit to the upside, all right? I want to try to let my winners run, but I'm certainly not letting winners turn into losers, all right? And so that's kind of what I'm looking at in that. So hopefully that all kind of makes sense. If it didn't have you logged into Zoom already. Yeah, sorry, that's a bummer, perfect circle. I would say, Peter, break it down. It's gonna, be individual to each of you. I think 2 of the most popular charts for day traders are going to be 5 minutes and 15 minutes. And then I think there's a lot of people that are looking at 1 and 3 minute charts. If they're looking at really fast scalping kind of stuff, people that are taking, 2,000-3,000 shares and are looking for 5, 10, 15 cents or something like that really fast. A lot of people looking at 1 and 3 minute charts. I'm not one of those people, but I'd say those are probably the 4 of the most popular time frame charts, Peter, are 1, 3, 5, and 15 minute charts. So hopefully that all kind of answers some questions, gave you guys all something to think about, something to work with there. There's a scan for you. And then back over to Craig. We touched on the NASDAQ thing before. I think you put something else. Yeah. Do you guys have accessible metrics to show how strategies are ranked up in overall markets? No, nothing historical like that. Not with alert windows in general or Holly. Here's the thing with Holly. Bring up a strategy window of Holly and bring that over. I want to clean this up. There's too many columns and nonsense in here. Sorry, just trying to clean this up because I feel like there's just too much crap in these things. I don't want to be pointed with the data and what I'm trying to explain. Okay, so this is the strategy window, not the trades. These are the strategies that Holly came to the gate today with, all right? All right. This is what their win rate was on the optimization and back test from last night. This is the profit factor on the optimization and back test from last night, okay? These are the strategies that actually fired. Here, how many trades each one had today. So we can see most of these strategies, all these down here had no trades whatsoever today. These 4 each had 1. Loser, 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 winner. Long and short, all the time frames are intraday. I don't know why that's there. I know there's been talk of a swing AI. I wouldn't hold my breath at this point. With all of that said, this breakout, this downward dog, this nickelback, so on and so forth, are not the same ones that existed yesterday, which are not the same ones that existed the day before. We may not see these again for a week. We may see them every day for the next week. I have no idea. But if you saw each one of these every day this week, every day they're going to be slightly different. And that's why it's hard for us to put a historical number on any of this for those win rates when, the breakout today is different than the breakout tomorrow, which is different than the last time that breakout was in here. I don't know when the last time it was in here. So it's hard to have historical references for something that is constantly changing. Is there huge changes in it? I have no idea. In fact, nobody does. Every one of these starts out as a base strategy, gets put in this hopper essentially, and each night thousands of simulations go through and filters are tweaked, added, pulled. There are certain basics of these strategies that will never change. So for example, we have a strategy called Mighty Mouse and another one called Little Big Guy. The price range on those is never going to change. Or if it changes, we're talking 50-cent changes, up or down, but it's never going to leave a certain price range, hence the theme of those strategies. But, volume metrics in them, position and range filter metric in them. I'm just using these as examples. I don't know that these are filters that are in them. Those get tweaked constantly. And it may be something similar to what it was a week. And it may be something similar to what it was a year ago. But there's no way, there's no opening the hood and looking at it, not from my personal end anyways. I think, maybe Michael Noss or someone like that on the dev side can open those things up and take a look if they had to. But, Steve or me or Jamie or Andy, none of us are, opening those strategies up and looking at them. We don't have access to that end of things. So that's why there's no historical. And then as far as regular alert windows go, the only person that really does any algorithmic trading is probably Michael. What he has is going to obviously be proprietary to him and the back test and the sheets and all those things that he runs. He's, a huge data nerd, and I'm guessing he takes, big piles of data out of the, the system every day and puts them into spreadsheets and things like that. So, I've worked for years for trying to get a strategy that I could, deploy in a market and see how it does. Little to no success on my automated career. It also seems every single time I go to automate, either the market rolls over and tanks hard, or we end up with a market like we're in now. And this is what I mean by a market like we have now. This market's trash. It's hard. It's not trash, but I mean, of the, let's say, dozen traders that I talk to, let's say once a week or so, fairly regularly, not one of them is enjoying this market. None of the swing traders I know are enjoying this market overall. It's a lot of hard fought battles, myself included. I've gone more to day trading, where positions that I thought were going to be swing positions ended up being day positions. I'm getting stopped out of swing positions on the same day, which is really annoying. And this is what I mean by that choppy market, making this move up, we're down. It's a good little sell off there. And we're making a move up, and then this happens. And we're making a move up, and then this happens. And we're making a move up, and we chop a little bit, and then that happens. And we're out of the woods, and then that happens. And then we're out of the woods, and we're going to pull back again. So just not a great market. That's all there is to it for that quote unquote rising tide lifts all boats. Everybody likes trending markets. Heck, even a market that's trending down, I think, is easier to trade than this junk. So hopefully that kind of encompasses a whole bunch of stuff, a whole bunch of items that you were asking there. For those that want it, I just kind of made a slight tweak to, gee, did I close that window? I must have. Yeah, I closed everything. This is the window that I've been working on. Tell me I didn't save that window. Well, that was stupid of me. This is a window that I've been forward testing. I made one slight tweak on it recently. Let me make sure it's the right one. And I'm happy to share it out with you folks. I'd like to believe if and when we ever hit a trending market again, I mean, it's not really a when, it's an if, obviously, that this might be something that I can deploy for, and see, maybe see some decent results. All right, yeah, so this is it here. Relabel this here. Give me 1 second. Configure version 3. So I'll share this out with everybody, both sides. Doesn't have a lot of alerts a day. It's not any magic window, so don't go, investing your life savings in in this. And again, please let me know in Zoom if you don't see that. All right. I think YouTube should be fine. I've never had an issue with posting in YouTube, but Zoom, there's a permission that I didn't put myself to before. And that's why last week it was not working in the chat. But to go over this window, very, very simple stuff, what I've done in this window. I mean, look, there's not a ton of filters in here, right? We'll start with the selected alert, crossed above resistance. I have not selected of hours of trading. If I put in hours of trading, that's how many hours it's trying to look back to find the algorithm to try to find resistance. I just told the algorithm, open it up and look back for where you think there's resistance. And when it crosses it, so, the algorithm is essentially looking for areas where price is gathered and decides that that's resistance once it's crossed. So that's what I've used for the alert, the trigger, the event, whatever you want to call it. The filters, very simple. Looking at stocks between $4 and $50. They can be no more than 0.25% below the prior day's close. Have to trade at 100,000 shares today. Relative volume is 5. Position in range. For the day, they have to be in between 60 and 85% on that daily range. So I don't want to see stuff that's at the top of today's range. I don't want to catch anything that's, maybe the last gasp of the day. Daily RSI 65 coming into the day, and they have a dollar range on the last 5 days. And that's what I've done. And then the back testing, again, nothing really overly fancy in this back test. We're starting trades at 9:40 in the morning. We're ending them at 1:15. They have a 75-minute hold time or 4% profit target, 3.5% stop. We're testing it out the full now 64 days. And that's it. Nothing overly crazy in any of this. And here's the back test results. As far as back testing goes, this is what it looks like here. The daily, this is more important. The equity curve can be very deceiving because if you have just 1 or 2 big days on the equity curve, it can make this look great. Meanwhile, you're losing 90% of the time. So this is kind of, where you want to make sure that you have more green days than you do red days. And, this is what it looks like here. And so, not setting the world on fire. You can see metrics here, 56% winners, but the profit factor is not exactly awesome. Average winners to losers, that's kind of a crappy number, to be quite honest with you. And that's its projected return on the year at the as it stands. So we'll see. And, taking 300 shares, $1.50 in and out on the trade there. So that's, that's what I've got. That's what I shared with you. Hopefully get a little something out of that. Let's see, we're at 4:23 on the afternoon here on the East Coast. I am out of here at 4:30 today. So if there's any other questions or comments, if I missed something, let me know. I don't think I've missed anything. I think I've gotten to everybody, but let me know if I missed something, it wasn't intentional. So I'm happy to circle back on that in the last couple of minutes that we're together. Question stocks like this page. If I find over 15 separate items on SPY that I want to see. Sorry, I'm trying to piece together everything you said there. Perfect circle. If you have that many time frames, the only thing you can do is either increase the time frame on the stocks like this page, or sorry, brain fart, or do those individual times on 5-minute clips. So the question is, regarding our stocks like this page. So let me bring this over here. And come to our support here on the home page. We have in the Traderz area, stocks like this. And essentially what you can do is enter stock in here and get a snapshot of a minimum of, the minimum you can go is 5 minutes. You can go as much as 60 minutes of every alert and filter is met during that time. So for example, if I type SPY in here, And we look at the SPY. So this will look at it from 9:30 in the morning to 9:35 if I click submit. And, this will tell you every alert that happened that was met in that 5-minute time period. This will tell you every filter and what those filter values were during that time, the minimum and maximum values of those filters during that time. So you really have to go with the, you have to go with either the real large time frame or go 5-minute by 5-minute time frame. They're perfect circle on that. I think that's what you meant. I think that's what you're asking. Hopefully I understood you correctly. And then, are you familiar with the strat, or is there an alert I find inside bars? I am familiar with Rob and the strat. It's something that we're going to try to work on, I think, at some point with Market Explorer. There's no way to do it with what we have inside Trade Ideas currently. But make sure you're on the latest version of Trade Ideas, Jesse. And if you go to if you go to Market Explorer, just make sure you're on version 5.5.69. If you're not, just head to our download page, download and install that. It's going to require a restart of your machine if you haven't. In this Market Explorer window, if we right click and we go to server windows, you're going to see some inside bars in here. That's what we have to offer currently. So we've got, let's see, inside bars of 2, 5, 15, and 30 minute, and then an inside day. We will continue to add to this. I'll see if I can work on my end of getting the strat put in there. I believe he's using 60 minutes on those for the strat is what Mr. Rob Smith is using. Great trader, good guy. See if we can get that worked on. The strat's proprietary, so we kind of got to talk to Rob and work some of that out with him, I think. We don't like to make enemies on the, on the trader board there. Something we tried to work with him years ago with it, but we just couldn't do it. Now that, and he worked with some other individuals, so they have it. There's some other platforms that I believe have it. Now that we have the Market Explorer, we can do a little more on that. And so that's what I got to share for you there, Jesse. And then, yes, you are. Found 15 separate instance SPY chart over the last 10 days. So I run stocks like this for each 15-minute fine. Yeah, sorry, there's no easier way to do that on your perfect circle. And then, all right, we'll end the day with LAC. Joe Dagger asked about that. In the YouTube channel. All right. Well, you can always, this is recorded on YouTube, Jesse. So this recording will be up later. It's just an hour-long recording, so you can fast forward towards the end of it. And I'll hit you with that again real fast after I look at this chart. I like the chart. I like the space, lithium in general. I like that, but I don't know what happened today. Everything's getting smoked today. I didn't look at how the SPY closed, but I have to surmise that it was not a healthy close from the SPY today or the market in general. But I like this chart overall. It was just obviously overdone, got overheated here off this bottom, really, shot out of this like a cannon, moving up almost $15 in I don't know, almost $1 a day for 15 days or whatever it is. I don't know exactly counting out the bars here, but you can see what I'm talking about. And so got rejected off this 40. Think, we nailed down in here. Take a look. This level seems to be pretty significant now. And whenever I put pivot lines, consider them a zone. It's not exact, consider the zone in here. All right. And we can see price has been a magnet in that zone. I think we'd love to see it hold here and build a new base camp getting out of there. We can also note that, we came down after this real nice run up. We came down and kind of moved and chopped sideways. All right. Kind of sloppy sell off. We found and established a base in here. All right. We made a move up and we kind of paused in this area here as well. All right. And so we've moved back into this area. So again, zone. Love to see it hold in this zone somewhere. And, based on whatever your trading plan or what you're thinking is, if it can hold in this zone, I think you get an entry level and a shot back at 40, which is a all-time high, or roughly that's the all-time high right there, and a shot of riding into the blue clouds. So that's that. So again, Jesse, what you want to look for is the Market Explorer here. In new, got to be on the latest version of Trade Ideas, 5.5.69. If you don't know what version you're on, go to help, go to about. That'll tell you here. I'm a few versions ahead, testing stuff coming down the pipe. If you don't have that version downloaded, just go to our download page on our home, download section of our homepage. Go there, download that. When you do download and install, it's going to force a restart on your machine, and you're going to have the Market Explorer here. In the Market Explorer, a couple of things. Just go over this real quick. We did this at the beginning. We'll end with it today. There's a link to the user's guide section of the Market Explorer. If you click that, that's going to give you this page. There's a description of every single scan that's within here. It goes over how to find those. Like everything else in Trade Ideas, it's a right click. So if you right click, you'll see server window. These are going to be all the scans that are in there. Again, descriptions on every one of them. And go over that at your leisure. Right click. If we look at the server windows in here right now, inside bars, we have 2, 5, 15, 30, and an inside day. I know that Rob, who you mentioned from the strat, he's looking at 60-minute bars. It's something we're going to look to try to get in the Market Explorer. I'm not sure how we coordinate that, if we got to coordinate that with Rob or not. I don't know how proprietary it is. We don't want to, step on anybody's toes and take something of someone's that they've got, patented or marked off. So, but it's not doable, the strat within the regular software. So that's, Market Explorer allows us to do a lot of things that we can't do with the regular software. It's not pattern recognition though. It's just being able to essentially taking price and volume and breaking them into timeframes that we want and creating the scans that way. So that's what we got there. So, all right, everybody, gonna wrap up for the day. I appreciate everybody coming in. Like I said, the Zoom, how I'm doing this is supposed to be a little more structured. There wasn't a ton of people that popped into Zoom. Out of the nearly 40 people that registered, 5 people showed up into the Zoom. So kind of is what it is. And so we took it more of an open forum today, like I normally have been doing on the 3:30 session since September. Again, if we move in and I move into this and I start to have 30, 40, 50 people in here, I'm going to keep it more structured. It's hard to answer 40 questions at once when people are throwing them at me. Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays on the YouTube side, when I'm not doing Zoom, it's at the exact same time as I did this today. That's less structured. That I'm going to do more. That I'm keeping more open forum for I don't see that changing. I have no intentions of changing that for now. We'll do this, as it kind of comes, and the needs of the people essentially. So again, I thank you all very much. I'll be back here YouTube side only tomorrow, back to the Zoom/YouTube side on Thursday, and then YouTube side only on Friday. So thank you folks very, very much. As I always mention, it's about a community thing for me. Trade Ideas has given me a lot. It took me a couple of years to get the hang of trading itself. The software got faster than trading. But, I'm a big believer in this community and what Trade Ideas has to offer. And that's why, I opted to do this on my own, because I really like to see everybody that gets in here succeed. Obviously, we want you all to be subscribers, but you're only going to say subscribers if you're successful in trading. You're only going to be successful in trading if the tools that you're using help you along that way. And, I want to be part of those tools that help you along the way. So again, thank you kindly, folks. And we will catch you all here tomorrow. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and we'll go ahead and end this. And we will see you all back here, hopefully tomorrow in the YouTube session. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day, folks. Take care.